Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Life from the Inside Out with Kris. And last time we talked about some of the correlations between mindsets and different brainwave patterns, and really how these are all they're all going on simultaneously, and how it's a matter of really awareness and perception and shifting that. And Kris was explaining how some of these things work and some of the connections to what we talked about in one of the last episodes with the idea of sort of the mindsets having an attractive patterns and between ideas. So Kris is here with us already, and I think we're going to build on that.
Indeed. And we thank you for your consideration. And
Thank
we
you.
thank the viewers for their consideration as well.
Yeah.
You can look at mindsets in this particular way. Consider one of these big bubbles that you would sit in, like a ship, if you like, that takes you from one place to another. In this case, however, this bubble takes you to the contents of your mind, whatever it is that you are concentrating on, your sets of beliefs, expectations, attitude, and so on and so forth. This vehicle takes you to the land that is representative of the contents of your mindset. You have these bubbles in Jurassic Park movies, where they travel around on the island until catastrophe hits. So, similar to that, you use these as a device to experience a unique version, your version of the reality that exists in your mind. That is where reality is. That's where it exists. And it is transformed into your environment through the auspices of your mind. So everything is the product of your mind. You travel in these mindset vehicles to whatever destination you give it. A computer can only analyze the data you feed it. Your mind and your experiences can only produce the data you feed it. You cannot use Google search engine, say, tell me about apples, and expect it will produce banana bread or bricks or cars. You must input the correct data for it to produce what you are looking for. It cannot guess what you are looking for either. You must input something. Correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So in this way, what you put into your mind, not just wishful thinking now, but that which you ruminate upon, your worries, concerns, hesitations, fears, and so on and so forth. The things you don't get out of your system, but you keep buried inside. Even trauma of one kind or another. So this is what you hold in your mind. Well, lo and behold, you find yourself in that land. This is what you experience because you have not cleaned out the mindset. You can remove which you do not want to experience and replace it with that which you want to experience. But you can also not pile on what you want to experience on top of what you do not want to experience. One of them has to go. for the other to be predominant. Does that make some sense to you?
Yeah, I'm following you.
So it is a fairly basic principle. If you do not want to experience worry, insomnia, and everything related to it, then do not put that data into your mind as the command codes. Do not run those programs. You want to have peace of mind. You want to have clarity. You want to be in the moment. That is what you must put in. And in this way, remove what you don't want. A child, and you have children, and you remember when they were small, if a child is running around with a pair of scissors and you scream and run after the child to give you back the scissors, it's not going to give it to you. But if you say, my dear child, look at this nice cookie. How about we swap? You have the cookie and I'll have those things. Most children will say, fine, that seems like a good deal. Here you go.
Yeah.
So you must take one out and put another one in. It is, in effect, a rather simple principle, but for many people, it seems rather complicated. Do you know why? Any idea why? We spoke a little bit about that last week.
Well, I mean, sometimes it seems that we're not aware of some of the programs that are running or some of the beliefs that we have, and if you're not aware of them, you can't
We
change
would
them.
very gently beg to slightly differ. You do have what you are also, what many people are also very much aware is, I don't know this nice place that you're going to send me to, but I know that other place, even if it is full of bramble and rocks and stormy weather. I know that place and I can deal with that. I don't know this other place where you say there is no bramble, there are no rocks, there are beautiful beaches. So I might just stay with what I know because the other one might be a scam. You might show me the pictures, and when you take me there, it is swampland too. So I would rather stay with what I know, even if it is a struggle. How can you ask me to give up something I've known for a long time, a struggle, a trauma, a problem, a this and a that, for something I yet do not know how to handle? Does that make some sense to you? It is an unknown.
Yeah, so it's more about a resistance to change or transformation, or just sticking with the familiar, I think, to sum it up.
Correct. Sticking with what you know, even if what you know is not necessarily in your own best interest, but it is something you know.
Yeah, you could be like, yeah, I know suffering, so I'm going to stick with that.
Yes, I know stuff. I do not know that stuff. I will stay with the stuff that I know. We are certain the great comic George Carlin would have some excellent commentary. So basically, it is fear of an unknown quantity and or quality that may make you hesitant to venture forth outside of your pretty cocooned little comfort zone. But if you do venture, you might recognize rather quickly that being outside of your comfort zone is actually the best way to be. That may sound like a strange statement, but all in all, you truly do not have a specific kind of comfort zone. You have made something into a comfort zone, even if it is uncomfortable.
Yeah,
So
Kris.
it is all about transformation.
Yeah, I wanted to say something because one of the things I've been playing around with is deliberately going out of my comfort zone, and not in a real extreme way. There's some science and things coming up, and I decided to give it a try. That at the that like doing an ice bath or like putting yourself in real cold water, it helps your brain. People get into brain chemicals, the dopamine, that help you with like creativity and engagement and happiness and things like that. And so as you were talking, I was thinking the other dimension for that for me is I noticed that, hey, I'm deliberately going out of my comfort zone, and it just in a very short way, maybe just 30 seconds or a minute. But you kind of get used to that and be like, oh, it's not that bad. There's actually like a pleasurable character to it, or you kind of notice some of the benefits of leaving that comfort zone just for a brief moment. So I was wondering if there's any correlations there between doing something like that and what you're talking about.
Absolutely. And it is always a very nice idea to start in small increments. Even something as simple as putting your hands together. You have an automatic way. Your right thumb could be on top. Switch it around. Move your hand so that your right thumb is on the bottom this time. You might think, oh, this feels truly weird. It's like somebody else's hand. Put them back. And then again, try. Do this several times until all of a sudden you realize, oh, what was I worried about? It feels normal either way. This is very, very simple, but it can give you an inkling of what it means to step out of the comfort zone and adapt to it rather rapidly. The brain and your mind have incredible adaptability. That is why your mind can so easily function on associative principles because it adapts ultra rapidly. Your brain just follows suit. So if you adapt mentally, your brain adapts physically. Now, if you like, we can return Joseph to you. And thank you all for your lovely consideration.
Oh, thanks, Kris. Thanks for wrapping that all up.
Indeed.